Midnight Society recently released a new ARG. Full credit will go to Spaceman on Twitter for providing me this full breakdown for this video, and full credit to deciphering the new ARG is going to go to the Deadrop community. There's a lot of creators and a lot of folks that chipped in, so this was by no means a singular effort. I encourage everybody to go to the Midnight Society Discord and jump in. It's a great community, and there's lots of cool stuff like this going on. Spaceman kindly provided me a list and a full breakdown of what the ARG was and how it was solved and what it all means. So I'm going to read from this list, and this is just Spaceman's words and his breakdown. But before we do, please leave a like on the video, as it really helps out the channel. I really appreciate it. Alright, so let's jump right in. When Midnight Society was created, they had an ARG to find the first 500 variants. In this ARG, the community made a fan-made character, Spacebob, who was nothing more at the time than a blue line. Today, the head of Midnight Society, Robert Bowling, posted a video in response to my tweet saying, "Spaceman, stop searching."
Spaceman, stop searching.
Inside of this video, which is linked, and I'll have it on the screen here, has a code inside of the black box in the middle, which after a few hours of decoding came out to this. Visor Cortex connection severed, booting admin safe mode Terra. r.avanti@dirksapum.com, a 2020B Vern Systems Management Visor Cortex terminal. The email web link led us to a website, dirksapum.com, which contains pictures of all but 2 available comics in the game, and messages along the bottom, all hinting to a more dystopian world that the game takes place in. Those being, "Don't trust the vendor," "Feed the embers," "Our humanity lies in variance," "Spaceman, stop searching," "Blind the eyes," "Space dust is the source of and solution to all problems," "When buildings become cities, landlords become kings." Each of these bits have meaning, but none important to the overall ARG. We next went to the message tab in the website, which led us to a somewhat profile page. On that page being the address, District 3 restricted address, and his email. However, in the page, we got a little button that linked to his Twitter page, twitter.com/dirksapum. On this Twitter, we see very few things: a picture of a gas mask dated 1985, a news article about a 100-mile skyscraper, and a name, Robert Avanti. We see that Robert Avanti is the author of the comics you find in the game and is a seeker of truth. Not a ton more comes from this Twitter page. However, we were able to track down his name to a LinkedIn profile that you can see here on screen. This profile confirms even further that he is the author of the comics, claiming he's been writing them for over 5 years. But what is more interesting is his job before that. It says that Robert Avanti was a cleaner, Deadrop's in-game AI, for 35 years from 1980 to 2018. This means once he was against the variants and the claws, the in-game players. However, since him losing said job, he has turned a new leaf. One thing we decided to do was email the account, which, depending on what we said, led to different results. Without getting into detail, telling us a few things: the cleaners are not human, but some kind of AI cyborg. The eyes are watching us at all times. The closer we get to him, the more danger he is in. He is Spacebob. This has some pretty big implications towards the character, as before we knew nearly nothing about him. But there's one big issue with all of this. In the original code, it mentions that Robert Avanti has access to a variant console, and the fact he's been communicating using the Codex Operandi, a code made by variants for variant. This led me to this image. Robert Avanti is Spacebob. However, the comics were made by Robert Bowling, the head of Midnight Society, which coincidentally both have the name Robert. But in-game Robert Bowling is known as 402, a variant who shows up in the comics. The theory is that Robert Avanti is Robert Bowling inside of the Deadrop universe, and that Spacebob is Robert Avanti's alias, who at the time is the guise for 402. And there's an image on screen of the 402 variant. So that's where we're at right now. That's all the information we have. It seems like Robert Bowling is Robert Avanti, who is 402, who is Spacebob. So outside of all of this information, a lot of other community members emailed this Robert Avanti alias, myself included. I sent him an email saying, Mr. Avanti, I am a variant known as 2Zulu2. Myself and other variants are sympathetic to your cause. I believe we could find a position of mutuality. A personal contact of mine in Sector 3, Jimmy V, has provided intel that so far has been beneficial in finding out who may be pulling the strings in the refiner state. We are prepared to assist in any way possible. If you are Spacebob or know of his whereabouts, please consider the following message. Variant 2Zulu2 is ready and standing by. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about Spacebob? What do you think about the ARG, Robert Bowling getting involved in this way? I really think it's an exciting addition to the game. It really keeps the player base open, and it makes me even more excited for future snapshots. That's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notifications so you don't miss out on any future Deadrop content. My name is HELMETFIRE, aka Variant 2Zulu2, and I'll see you in the tower.